Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stuttara Shata Shishimadis Divine Grace Aisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stuttara Shata Shishima Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्राज भूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय न्यू जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulasi Maharani ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Book and Prasadam distribution ki jai, Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can obtain pure devotion and service. I bow down to his lotus feet with growing awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth, from whom you say great enemies, and I him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character, our spiritual master, the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord master of the world. O Master, be merciful unto us, and give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavana Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada. I like this. sollte versuchen... Anschrei? Ja, nice. Ich gehe jetzt zu dir heute Morgen schreiben. Ja, keine Führung. Dann kannst du so mit dir ankommen, zu der Buchel. Okay. Du kannst schreiben. Kann man machen, ich weiß nicht, wie die Zeit.
Was ist das drin?
Nein, das ist schon nicht.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Shoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Shoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Shubhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu avatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki. Om Akyana Timirandasya Kyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuron Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to this Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 4th canto, 24th chapter, text 43. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya namo vacho vibhutaye. Please repeat. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya Namo vacho vibhutaye. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya Namo vacho vibhutaye. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya namo vacho vibhutaye. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya namo vacho vibhutaye. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya namo vacho vibhutaye. Vaishnavis. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya namo vacho vibhutaye. Shaktitraya sametaya midushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya namo vacho vibhutaye. Shaktitraya sametaya vidushehan kritatmane cheta akuti rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye. Thank you very much. Shaktitraya. Three kinds of energies. Sametaya. Unto the reservoir. Midushe. Unto Rudra. Ahankritatmane. The source of egotism. Chetaha. Knowledge. Akuti. Eagerness to work. Rupaya. Unto the form of. Namaha. My obeisances. Vachaha. Unto the sound. Vibhutaye. Unto the different types of opulences. Translation. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of the body, mind and senses. You are also the supreme controller of egotism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and the activities of the Vedic injunctions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Everyone acts under the dictation of the ego. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to purify false egotism through the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Shiva, or Rudra, is himself the controller of egotism, he indirectly wants to be purified by the mercy of the Lord so that his real egotism can be awakened. Of course, Lord Rudra is always spiritually awake, but for our benefit, he is praying in this way. For the impersonalist, pure egotism is Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But in its actual position, the spirit soul has devotional activities to perform. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged, both in mind and in action, in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, according to the direction of the Vedas. This is the process for purifying false egotism. Chetaha means knowledge. Without perfect knowledge, one cannot act perfectly. The real source of knowledge is Vachaha, or sound vibration, given by the Vedic instructions. Here the word Vachaha, or vibration, means the Vedic vibration. The origin of creation is sound vibration, and if the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually become manifest. This is enacted by the chanting of the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus Lord Shiva is praying again and again for the purification of body, mind and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under the pure directions of the Vedas. Lord Shiva prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that his mind, senses and words will all turn toward devotional activities only. Hare Krishna, welcome once again to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. And when I read this verse, I read again the translation, maybe that you have it again. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of the body, mind and senses. You are also the supreme controller of egotism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and the activities of the Vedic injunctions. So here it is clearly said that Krishna is the supreme controller. And yeah, actually, what does that mean? He is the supreme controller. Srila Prabhupada, he's explaining that we are all controllers in some way. In any specific field, we are the controller. For example, in family, we may have some certain control over the children. In business, over the workers, or anything that we are doing, we are in control of it. We are the controller. But at the same time, we are always controlled. There is always somebody above us. There is always a higher authority above us. And if somebody is the only controller, when there is nobody above him, then he is God. This is Krishna. He is the supreme controller. So Ishvara, supreme controller. Or also Jagat Isha, he is the controller of the universe. So we sing Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. So this Jagadisha, this is the controller of the universe. We sing every morning and every evening. So this is Lord Nrsingadev. He was appearing. Actually, Krishna appeared in this form of Lord Nrsingadev to show Hiranyakashipu, you are not the controller, I am the controller. And Hiranyakashipu, he was thinking that he is the controller actually, because he has had a big influence, he was a big ruler, he has mystic powers, he was ruling the entire world and the entire universe, but still he didn't consider that there is someone above him, namely Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he could control nothing, actually. He could not even control his 5-year-old kid, because Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee and he was surrendered to Krishna, to the Supreme Controller, so he was protected in this way. And Hiranyakashipu, he had knowledge. It is the last day we were speaking about this. Ramakanta Prabhu was mentioning that he had the knowledge. He was preaching to the wives of Hiranyaksha when Hiranyaksha left the body that, oh, you know, you are not this body, you are spirit soul. He gave some knowledge, but he did not add Krishna. He did not consider that Krishna is the supreme controller. So this kind of knowledge is useless, actually. So it was just material knowledge. So Lord Nrsingadev, he came and he destroyed not only him, his body, but he destroyed also his false ego at that moment. And so Srila Prabhupada is saying that actually we have to get knowledge about this controller, this supreme controller, Krishna as the supreme controller, how he is controlling. So he is the controller of the material nature, he is the highest authority, he makes all rules and all laws, and we have to surrender to these laws through our karma. If we break them, we have some reactions. And if we keep them, we have also good reactions. So he is the controller, and he is controlling through karma, actually, through reactions. And so in the Brahma Samhita, there is this beautiful verse, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. That Ishvara Parama Krishna, he is the supreme controller. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. And in the purport, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, I just read one sentence of the purpose. He says, Krishna as truly visioned in his variegated pastimes, such as owner of transcendental cows, chief of cowards, consort of milkmaids, ruler of the terrestrial abode Gokula, and object of worship by transcendental residents of Gokula beauties, is Govinda. So in this way, he is the controller. And how are we controlled? How are we controlled? Because here in this verse it said, he is the controller of the body, mind and senses. So how can we control? We can control, as I mentioned, in material life over some field, and if we have the karma for it, then we can control. We have the control. If I'm a teacher, then I have a certain control over my pupils, otherwise not. And so how we control in spiritual life, we may control our senses, and it is said that somebody who controls his senses, he's Swami or Goswami. But how he can control? How can I control my senses? I cannot do by my own, actually. It is only through mercy. It is through mercy of Guru and Krishna. So he is the supreme controller, and if we surrender to him, if we worship him, if we render him devotional service, then actually we are glorifying his supreme, him as supreme controller. So, but often we not really understand that that he is the supreme controller. We not even understand, I am not the doer. He is the doer. It is explained in Bhagavad Gita. We are not even doing ourselves something. We can decide in a certain amount. We can actually, the thing that we can decide is, do we want to turn our face toward Krishna, or do we want to turn our face away from Krishna? Like this. Do we want to serve Krishna, or do we not want to serve Krishna? This is the free will that we have, actually. And it is said that nothing happens in this world, not even the movement of a blade of grass, without the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without that Krishna is controlling everything. So what does this mean for devotees? It means that actually in every situation that I am in every situation that I am put in, I should remember, oh, this is under the control of Krishna. I'm not the controller, he is controlling. We may try to do something, and then something happens that it doesn't work. He is the controller. He is teaching us. And we may do some service for a certain time, maybe sometimes for years. And then after some time, something happens. We may become sick, or somebody that we love may die, somebody that is very close, or something happens that is really like shaking us. And this is like showing us that Krishna is in control. Actually, we may say, yeah, the karma comes up, but we should actually not think like this. We should never think like, oh, this devotee became sick, he has a bad karma. We should never think like this. We should always think, he is put under the test of Krishna. Krishna gives him a test. And when we for ourselves, we can think, oh, this is due to my bad karma. I was really acting in a bad way. Maybe in this life, maybe in the last life. For ourselves, it's okay, but to think for others, it's actually not okay. It's an offense. It's said that it's an offense. So and it's also nice to think for myself, this is a test from Krishna. Because then I'm thinking always of Krishna, actually. If I'm thinking everything that happens is under his control, I'm always Krishna conscious. So Damodar Prasad Prabhu asked me to speak about some personal realization, and I have a little realization when I came after Kartik. I came to the temple for Kartik, actually, and I wanted to serve Krishna and to be here for Kartik, and I took free from work, so I had a free time, and yeah, it was nice to do service and to go into it. And after 4 weeks, I had to go to work again. And then I thought, okay, I will stay in the temple and go from there and go to work. And then I went, and it was actually a nice job with children in the forest. And I was supposed to take responsibility for them, and they were the new kids and the parents and my helper, and everything went very nicely, and it was really nice, and the children were happy and the parents were okay, and like this. And then I came back, and a few hours later I got such a pain in my neck and on the shoulders. It was such a heavy pain, and I was thinking, what is happening now? And I was like, oh my God. And I went, for stretching, and I was asking one Mataji, and she said, yeah, you have to stretch, you have to do this and that. And I tried somehow, but it didn't went away, and I went to sleep, and I thought, oh, I cannot even get up for Mangal Artik with this neck and with this pain. And the next morning I realized, oh my God, this is actually a sign of Krishna. He is showing me, stop this. This is not what I want from you. And then I called my boss, and I said, I'm sorry, I'm sick. I have some psychomatic symptoms. I cannot do that work any longer. And because it was just the beginning, I had only a few days, I could just go away. I just came back once more to say goodbye, and I brought some prasadam, and everything was okay. And I'm praying that they will find someone who is replacing me nicely, and like this. And this was really a sign that Krishna is in charge and he is in control. And as soon as I decided I will stop this, the pain went away. It was really mystical. It went away, and it was like, actually, it's this kind of things. It's like Krishna is guiding us through this. He's always showing us something. We can always think, oh, this happens, and we can become angry, but there is no use of becoming angry, actually, because it's really he is in control, and he wants to show us something. If he smashes us, actually, I am sometimes very much afraid of this smash, but it comes again and again. And this smash means calm down from your false ego, calm down from your pride, from your arrogance and all this. And then I realize, oh my God, okay. And when he is supporting us, then it's like he's also in control, and the mercy comes through another way, but it's always mercy. It's always mercy, and we can really accept the mercy in this way or that way. Sometimes it's a little more sweet to take, and sometimes a little more hard to take. Yeah, and there is a beautiful lila that shows also how Krishna is in control of everything. And you may all, or some of you, most of you know this story. It's the story of Gita Panda. His original name was Arjun Mishra, actually, but he was called Gita Panda because he was reading every day Bhagavad Gita. Every day he was reading. He was very eager, and he was studying Bhagavad Gita. And he was very poor. He had a wife and 3 children, and he had to maintain his family. So he went out to beg for alms. And one day the rain started, heavy, heavy rain, and he couldn't go out to beg. So they had no food. They had just a little bit left in the kitchen, and the wife cooked that, and then it was over. And the rain continued the whole week. And the Prabhu Gita Panda, he was very happy, because actually he could read more Bhagavad Gita. But his wife, she was very disturbed, and she said, "Oh, come on, why are you reading the whole day? Can you not go out and just beg? We have no food. The children are hungry. I'm hungry. This is not possible. Why are you doing like this?" And he was telling her, "Oh, my dear wife, you know, I'm trusting that actually Krishna is in charge of everything. He's controlling everything. He will supply us some food. Don't worry about this." And she became very angry, you know. And then he said, "Look, I read in the Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayantomam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. But those who are always worshipping me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have." She became even more angry, you know. She was like really disturbed. You have to go out, you have to do something. This is not true what is written here. If you don't do anything, nothing will happen. And then she was so angry, she took a pen and she made 3 lines, tack, 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 through the verse. And Gita Panda was shocked, but he didn't say anything. And then the wife and the children went to bed. Hungry and angry, they went to bed. And Gita Panda was just continuing to studying Bhagavad Gita. And then suddenly there was a knock. And then the wife opened the door, and she saw 2 beautiful boys. One, he was blackish, dark skin, and one, he was white, like milk. And then they brought big bags, and they had a lot of food in it. They had vegetables and rice and milk products and everything. And the wife was very astonished. "What is this?" And then the boy said, yes, a good friend of Gita Panda sends you this. And then she was so astonished and so pleased. She said, "Oh, thank you so much. You know what? I will cook some prasadam and I invite you. You can take prasadam with us. Please come. I'm so thankful that you carried all this." And then the black boy said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I cannot take prasad with you." "But why not?" "You know, somebody cut my tongue in 3 pieces," and he showed his tongue. And the wife the Brahmini was very shocked. She said, "Oh my God, who did that to you?" "Don't worry." And then they left, and she went to the kitchen, she cooked, she prepared food, and Gita Panda came and said, "Wow, what is all this food? Where have you this from?" And she explained to him, "Yeah, 2 boys came and they brought all this, and they said a friend of yours gave you all this." And Gita Panda was thinking, "But what is this? And why did you not invite them to take prasad?" She said, "I did, but the black boy had said somebody cut his tongue. He even showed me, and it's horrible. He has 3 lines on the tongue." And then Gita Panda immediately understood. This was Krishna personally, Krishna and Balaram coming to knock at his door and bringing all these foodstuffs. And he told his wife, you know, this was Krishna and Balaram. And she understood immediately also, and she was so sorry. And then they said, "What can we do?" So they decided to go to Puri, to Jagannath Puri, and to go to take darshan of the Lord and to beg forgiveness. And then they went to Jagannath Puri, and when they went there, they paid obeisances, and then they looked at the deity, and there were 3 lines at the lips of Jagannath. And then they understood, oh my God, yeah, this was really a mistake, but we will not commit that offense again. The same story we heard maybe sometimes also with that the back was hurt and there were the lines on the back. But actually this story is about the mouth. Why? Because actually the words of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki jai, Shishigor Nitai ki jai, the words are emanating from the lotus mouth of Krishna, the words written in the Shastras. And if we just make some lines on it, if we don't believe it, then we are offending the lotus mouth of Krishna. Yeah, and just to end, there is something very important more to say. Actually, we were speaking about that Krishna is the supreme controller, but actually there is somebody who is even more in control than him. And who is that? Anyone has an idea? Yes, Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani is actually controlling Krishna himself. He is the highest controller. He has no controller above him, but she is controlling him. And how she is controlling him? Through her pure love. Through her Mahabhav, she is controlling him. So I will end. If you have any thoughts, any comments, anything to share, or maybe some questions. Yes, Anadi Gorangi, is there some microphone? Oh, okay.
Thank you for the class. I wanted to ask about this. How much significance really we have in our free will? Like how significant really it is? Because, as you said, when we choose to turn away or come to Krishna, it feels that almost there we don't really have much of a free will. Because, like sometimes we try to turn away, but Krishna is pulling us by our hand to move forward. So yeah.
You mean that even that we don't have under the will because he is?
It feels like a child that tries to make like plans for the future, but at the end of the day, the father is in control of that also. So.
Yeah, actually, it is true. He is in control even of that. But if we decide we don't want to serve him and we don't want to do that, he cannot do anything because we have the free will. If you say, I don't want to serve you, Krishna, then Krishna says, okay, because this is how we came into this world, because we want to act independently, and he lets us. It's this place where we can act independently. But if we want to surrender and to serve him, then he's helping us. Then he's giving all opportunities, then he's arranging everything, all situations. But we have to pray for it and to surrender all the time, not only once. Okay, now I surrender, now he will do everything, he's in control. No, we have to again and again, every day and actually every moment again, I'm surrendering to your lotus feet. And this is our free will, this we can do by our own. Yeah. Does that answer? Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, dear Radhagovinda Mataji. Wonderful class. You mentioned about Srimati Radharani, and I just remembered one question that was inside me for a long time. And once I was listening to a lecture of my Guru Maharaj, and he was telling that we can see that through whole Bhagavatam, Radharani, like it's never mentioned about Radharani, only in some places in the 10th canto. But he was telling that only the one who really who knows kind of secret or something, who is really searching for that, he will find her in Srimad Bhagavatam. So I just really curious, maybe you have some information, how is Srimati Radharani manifested in Srimad Bhagavatam? If you have some, maybe.
I can only say that she is not mentioned because if Vyasadeva would mention her, he would fall in ecstasy. He would be so in ecstatic mood that he could not continue to speak, and that's why he's not mentioning her. This is a very deep question. I am unable. I'm not able to answer it. I'm so sorry. How she's maybe someone else can from the Prabhus or from Mataji. How she is manifesting through the Bhagavatam. Yes, Vanamali Mataji.
She manifests in the holy name, and also, of course.
Can you repeat?
Yes. Radharani is manifesting in the holy name, Hari, and also in the form of Lord Chaitanya, because we get the Srimad Bhagavatam because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's the Sankirtan movement. So in this way we can relish the Bhagavatam through our Guru Parampara coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The mission by service, and Mahaprabhu is the holy name. So so in this way Radharani is manifesting. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Yes. Anyone else wants to share something about this? Question.
So she would maybe I would like to share the miracle that has happened in my life.
Oh.
So I understood that it's not me who is controlling everything and managing in the life. So in 2003, I first heard about Krishna consciousness in Samnamahat. I was living in a small city. And in this city I was wondering who brought Krishna consciousness for the whole people. Because I really like how people, they speak about Krishna and they think about him, like glorifying him. And the woman who was leading the Namahata, he told me about that. So she showed me some picture, and there was some young man, like guy who left the city. So he left in order to distribute books with his spiritual master. And when I saw him, I was really inspired. I felt very inspired inside. And I was wondering, like, what kind of woman should be by the side, like near such man. And then in 12 years, and in this city, in the temple, I saw this very, how to say, light person, very shining person. Yeah. So we got acquainted with him, and then I realized that it was that man that I saw in the picture. And later we got married and he became my husband. So Krishna replied to her, like to me, like to my interest in such a way, like my desire to know about Krishna consciousness in such a way. And yet the emotion that she felt, it was like this, very like, wow. So this wow effect was when I saw him on the picture, and I really was interested a lot in him. So when I realized that this is exactly that man that I saw in the picture, and I realized that only Krishna can do such miracles and such arrangements. And if it's okay, I would like, if you allow, I have one question, small question.
Thank you for sharing.
So the question is, like, if Krishna is doing what will please Radharani, because she's control of him, she has control on him. So how should I understand that? Why he left her? Maybe it's from some lila, yes. For some lila, he left her alone. He left her to another city. Not so clear. So he left to Dwaraka. Why he left her?
Why Krishna left to Dwaraka?
No, I think
this is a very nice question. Who can answer?
Sorry, today you mentioned about Srimati Radharani. Sorry.
Yes. I can say why he left the Rasa Leela, but Dwaraka. Why he left Dwaraka? What was the reason for it? You have any idea?
And internal reasons as always.
Okay.
The external that he wanted to protect. Also. Externally, he wanted to protect the Yadu dynasty from all kind of envious kings who wanted to attack them. So he built a fort in the sea, middle of sea. And then, but internally, I heard from senior devotees that he wanted to increase the ecstasy of Vrajavasis, including Srimati Radharani, by removing himself, so that in Vipralamba, separation, their emotions reach the peak. Like there is this pastime in Prem Sarovar in Vrindavan. Prem Sarovar is one of the lakes